Hello everyone, this is Malazetic, the New World Pacifist. Today I will be going over anything you need to know about being a pacifist character in New World. All this information and more can be found on my website at newworldpacifist.com. For those who do not know, I went into the closed beta investigating a pacifist character for New World. By the end of the closed beta, I had a level 60 character. It is 100% doable, and it took me a little under 4 days of gameplay time. But first, let's address what a pacifist character is in New World. In short, a pacifist character is somebody with zero combat experience. Really, anything trade skill related is fine, skinning is fine because the creature's already dead and we didn't want to waste the resources, right? However, with fishing, that's a little bit of a different topic because I like to break the pacifist character into two different categories, kind of like a vegetarian and a vegan. In this case, it's a pure pacifist and a pacifist character. A pure pacifist character will not inflict any harm upon any living creature whatsoever, so they will not be fishing, while a pacifist character in general may inflict harm for self-survival and would only kill for resources that are required to live, not sport, so they would be willing to fish. Next up is, how do we verify a pacifist character? In some games such as RuneScape, it is very easy to tell this as there are no character levels, there are combat levels, but in New World, it's kind of hard to differentiate since we do have a character level. I will say it is completely possible to reach level 60 with 0 weapon mastery and 0 trade skills. To do this, you would just kill things using your fist all the way up to level 60. It may be boring and mundane, but it is completely possible. The reason I bring that up is because weapon mastery experience is not a validation point, because we can do what I just explained, kill things with your fist to get to level 60. So we need something else, and this is where achievements come in. Achievements will track everything you've killed. It will also track everything you've killed while in a party, so if somebody is trying to kill something for you, it will be tracked. It will cover all points needed to know if you've actually gained any combat experience whatsoever. The problem with achievements, however, is they are account bound, which means if you have a secondary character that is killing things, it will show on your pacifist character. Because of this, I will have 2 different New World accounts, one for my combat character and one for my pacifist character. I do also want to touch on the game tutorial for when you first create your character. For those who have gone through the tutorial, you'll know that you have to kill things to progress through it. The simple answer to that, however, is you can just skip the tutorial. You don't actually have to do it. In order to skip the tutorial, you need to get the shield from Captain Thorpe first, which does require you to kill the first lost enemy that you encounter. Thankfully for us, this kill on the lost does not count towards our achievement progress, so we still have what looks like a clean slate on the achievements. We now can progress into the open world since we've completed the tutorial, and with us being in the open world, I'd like to talk about leveling up your pacifist character now. Leveling up a pacifist character is rather straightforward on pen and paper. Just don't do things that require combat, right? But what exactly is that? The first major experience gain for you will be the project board quests. These quests are repeatable and enable you to turn in resources that you will already be gathering for experience in the first place. When the closed beta first launched, these quests refreshed every 5 minutes. Not even a week into the beta, it was changed to refresh every 30 minutes to prevent people from leveling too fast. It was that good. But here's a fun fact. During the preview event in August 2020, it was refreshed every 5 minutes and it didn't change it at all for that event. Anyways, project board quests are always going to be your bread and butter for leveling up your character, so long as Amazon keeps them as repeatable quests. If they take out that repeatability in it, then we might have a little bit of a problem leveling up a pacifist character. Aside from that, there are a few other things that will yield your character experience as a pacifist. Gathering nodes, anywhere from 5 to 40 experience per node depending on their HP value. While this may be a small amount, it will also be a common activity for you, which will greatly add up over time. Trade skill leveling up. Every time a trade skill gains a level, your character gains experience. The act of crafting, refining doesn't actually give you experience, but just the level up of the trade skill does. Territory standing level ups also work the same way. The act of leveling up your territory standing earns character experience as well. The last thing on the list of things that will give us experience are side quests. Not all quests in the game have you kill things, and so you can do some of these side quests, such as delivering a letter in which you are rewarded with a bag. And with that, I've covered all the basic information I want to for your pacifist character. At this point, I want to dig a little bit deeper and talk about some advanced topics. The first one is your base of operations. As a pacifist character, you want to be where the players are. You will need to be as much a business person as you are a pacifist. I personally had to buy a lot of rawhide and refining materials such as sandpaper and flux, as I was not gathering enough for myself while crafting. Buy orders from the trading post will also be your friend. There's nothing wrong with trying to buy 10,000 raw hides at a penny each. In addition to the buying and selling of goods on the trade post, you will also have access to a lot more town board quests than you would out in a rural area. It is also a lot more likely that you will be around higher level crafting stations that will be upgraded sooner than later, because that's where all the players are and the town will be able to bring in the revenue. During the closed beta, it seemed like a toss-up between Everfall and Windsward for my server. But between the two, I would say Everfall would be my first pick, as it is a lot more centralized on the overall map than Windsward is. As far as the taxes go, you don't have to actually worry about them. Yes, it would suck if they're high, however, you will earn more money over the long run because there are so many other players in the area. You can also mitigate this by increasing your territory bonuses for a reduced tax rate on whichever tax is too high for your comfort. So, do not worry about what the taxes are, you need to be in a central area where the players are. As I briefly just mentioned territory bonuses, that happens to be our next advanced topic for a pacifist character. The most important thing I want you to know about territory bonuses is that you cannot respec those points. Once you've spent a point into a bonus, you are locked in with that choice. Let me just dive in on how the system works. You earn territory standing by doing just about anything in a territory. Crafting, gathering, refining, questing. Now, when your standing levels up, you earn 1 bonus point that you can spend for your territory that you're currently in. When you spend your bonus point, you get to pick from a selection of 3 provided to you. The order that is offered is not random, so you can plan out what bonuses you want when you want them. The bonuses also have a stacking increase on the potency of the bonuses you select. The only exception to this is the level 10, where you are forced to pick house ownership. There are a total of 9 bonus options: faction tokens, gathering speed, housing items, property tax, standing gain, station fee, storage, trading tax, and experience gain. As it so happens, I did create a territory bonus calculator so you can plot and plan how you would want to go about your bonuses for your character. I do want to let you know that the experience gain is only offered 4 times at level 1, 4, 6, and 8, meaning if you want to max them out, you would have to get them at those points. There's also diminishing returns on these percentage bonuses. After about 12 points into a bonus, you'll have about a 30.5% increase in whatever bonus you've invested. However, after your 12 points, you're not going to notice a 1% increase in the bonus. It's actually going to be less than that. And then, at the 42 point spot, you will be at a 37% bonus value that will no longer increase any further. As my suggestion for a pacifist character, I would recommend putting 12 points into territory standing kind of sooner than later. If you take a look at this image here, this is my recommendation for the first 34 levels, how you should allocate your points for a pacifist character. Outside of that, you're kind of free to go about however you'd want to do it, but that territory standing is a very important one early on, so you continually gain more standing in whichever zone you're trying to level up. Ultimately, the reason I made this tool is so you can plan out how it would work best for you, because everybody has a different amount of time that they can play a game, and for somebody who's only able to play it for at most an hour a day, I might actually suggest getting experience gain so you can level up. Next up, our final advanced topic, crafting. This suggestion might sound a bit strange at first, but hear me out. Don't go out of your way to earn extra weaponsmithing or armorsmithing levels. Let them come out naturally using the town board quests only, and here's why. Both weaponsmithing and armorsmithing during the closed beta had quests that correlated to what your trade skill level was. What I mean by this is if your trade skill was underneath level 50 for weaponsmithing, you would only get the crude weapon work orders, which required the raw materials to create the crude weaponsmith work order. The same thing happened to the armorsmithing. You would get a crude armorsmithing work order in which you'd use raw materials to create whatever the work order wanted. The reason I say this is because you're going to start getting star metal or orichalcum work orders in which these materials are not going to be as easy to come by, and you won't be able to complete those quests as easily as you want to. I will say take that with a grain of salt though, because they may change that for launch. The other part of crafting that I want to talk about is level requirements for equipping your item. Let's take a star metal tool, default gear score level 400, and the level requirement for that is going to default at 40. Now, if you take that same tool and add 3 perks onto it, you reduce the level requirement down to 37, minus 3. For each perk, you reduce the level requirement by 1. This means if you want to try and craft a item that has a lower level requirement, you do want to Azoth pump it. The other part to lowering the gear score value on an item is crafting it with a lower tier value. So we were talking about star metal, let's keep on with that. Star metal is tier 4. The primary component is metal, and you have to use tier 4 metal on that. You cannot avoid that. As for the secondary items, such as the timber and leather, you would want to use a tier 2 material, as it will lower the gear score because it's not the same tier. And that's how you craft a level 33 star metal tool. And that covers everything I want to talk about for a pacifist character. I will continue to update my website newworldpacifist.com more often than I will be making YouTube videos, so I do strongly yet again suggest go check out that website more than checking out my YouTube videos, because more accurate and current information will be there than it will be on YouTube. If you stuck it out this long in the video, I greatly appreciate it. You rock, and I hope you have a wonderful day.